I'm sure you all saw the title and shed a tear with World Trigger content finally making its way into another video. It's been a while since Season 3's conclusion, and today I wanted to discuss the current ongoing arc being the away mission examination. The result of the rank wars qualified Tamakoma 2 to make it to the next stage. What comes next is a large-scale examination spanning into 2 parts that will also be judged by A-Rank and S-Rank agents. On top of this, the teams are randomized, and agents who have never worked with each other are now tasked with working together to achieve the maximum results. A style of the unexpected that is right up Ashihara's alley, but I'm sure for some people that they may be turned off from this section of the story. While I do find the constant strategizing and mechanics within the test very interesting, it is not going to be for everyone. In fact, I would not be surprised if majority of the World Trigger fandom are letting these chapters stack, and in which case I get it, because overall this will be a really solid binge from the beginning to the final results. Looking at this arc from another perspective, however, I would argue that this examination period is one of the most important arcs to date. Now, before I get onto rambling, I want to first explain the stakes that are coming within this arc, which directly tie into the away mission as well. One of the things Ashihara has taken time to flesh out was how the top brass is also included within the story outside of the invasions. The most recent example of this will be the chapters dealing with the Hiyuse neighbor rumors in order to protect the integrity of the organization. Now, if we turn back the clock and go back to season 1, in the episodes dealing with the aftermath of the After Crater invasion, we had one particular episode with Border versus the media. The outrage was due to not only the amount of destruction, but the amount of captured agents as well, and this was pretty much an assault on Border's PR. Thankfully, with the arrival of Mikumo, there was some face saved by the exposure of the away mission, but this also involved Border and new future stakes. What was originally a private operation is now public knowledge, and one thing I expect to come full circle is this discussion about the results of the away mission to the public. People are going to want to hear about what took place, and in order to ensure the best results possible, this exam is put into action. This upcoming away mission has a lot more riding on it outside of just retrieving comrades back, with Hiyuse wanting to go home and Galapola still in the mix. When taking all of these things into consideration, it's safe to say that Border's reputation is at stake, and the results of this test and the away mission is going to help leverage it. The media are going to want results, and in order to ensure the best results can come, you must put all of your agents through a selection process that will allow the best of the best to go ahead. This plays a part into my video that I made around the conclusion of season 3 as to why I think Mikumo may fail. Regardless of his strategical comeback he's making for his team, I see him struggling a bit within the long-term battle portion and can overall be the reason why he fails. I know that the top brass situations may not be interesting to everyone, but it's something that cannot be overlooked, especially if it could affect the future of how operations could go. Ashihara as an author is somebody who does not let one detail go to waste, and I feel that either before or after the away mission, a confrontation with the media will make its rounds again to showcase what else is at stake away from our main crew. Being able to elaborate upon the selection process and deal with any consequences because of the results is going to be detrimental, and I think it's something that will be appreciated in the long term, especially with future conversations that involve a lot of what-if scenarios. I think the gradual inclusion of the top brass within the story, outside of them being the ones in charge, has been a great way to showcase that everyone has a role to play, whether it be in combat or the one spearheading the charge. Now, the second and main stake that truly highlights the importance of this arc is the overall results of who gets selected to take part in this mission. As stated earlier, right now every single team is randomized, from attackers, snipers, gunners, all-rounders, and operators being mixed up. The purpose of this mix is to simulate the unfavorable conditions that will take place abroad, as you should not expect to be comfortable when facing uncharted lands. On top of this, you could be working with anybody in the long term, so the more exposure to new personalities, the better. Each daily task and wrenches in the plan has caused the teams to adapt and strategize methods to complete the objective in the most efficient way possible. In a way, we are seeing these agents evolve in a mental way, because the only thing that they are able to do is keep calm and process. Every single detail, from the conversations amongst the teams to the obstacle resolutions, is being judged by the A-Rank agents, and it's such a refreshing way to go about means of evaluation. You can also argue that everyone's evolution through this test is a positive second-handed result, as Border tends to waste no time when looking at ways to improve its agents. It's also setting up some pretty interesting team-ups in the future, as the more agents who have never worked with each other understand the mindsets of their teammates, the better the teamwork will be come fight time. For example, one of the things we have seen is Katori use the wires coming off her defeat in round 5, and even within the simulation game, her units are taking part with the wires as well. I would not be surprised if come the actual battle portion that she ends up replicating the method similar to Kuga, continuing her streak of being a prodigy. The best part is, it doesn't have to stop there, because there are so many new sets of combinations that can take place amongst these teams. Imagine Amatori having a Trion link with Nanomiya during his full attack barrage. We're talking huge devastation and max ammo dump right there. Or what about Wakamura and Hiyuse working together, and for once he will have a powerful asset that he can work with instead of butting heads with all the time, which can lead to some pretty great synergy in the battle sims. This will actually be a pretty good time for some fan service team ups, so hopefully Ashihara dips his hands pretty deep in that territory, because the possibilities are endless for what may come to be in terms of new new teamwork. Even with all of this in mind, it is clear that this forced adaptation due to the scenario is a huge area for evaluation and altogether plays a huge part when looking at the stakes of who will and won't make it onto the mission. While the sealed environment portion of the exam is full of ups and downs for teams, I feel the 36-hour battle portion will be the one that really makes it clear for who will make it onto the mission. Whether it be the people who truly need to make it onto the mission or those who really want to make it onto the mission, I have no doubt that we are in for at least one major surprise come the final results, and it really makes anticipation for this arc really high and also highlights why this arc is so important. A lot of the time, evaluation can go hand in hand with tournament arcs within the shonen genre, but this is one of the few times where we are going past the results of battles and adding layers onto the final decision making process. It's quite impressive considering that this one arc is involving a huge majority of the cast, and I cannot imagine what pulling all the voice actors together like this is going to be like come season 4. This is without a doubt one of the most important arcs in World Trigger, and I do plan to do a full dive breakdown when this completely concludes. It will take a while given that we have a second portion to get through, but will definitely be worth it, especially if the results knock us all off our feet. That's pretty much it for me though. As always, thank you for watching, and if you are currently reading the examination arc, make sure to let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you guys in the next video.